with it. Just go with it. That's how we do it. You're gonna see. Okay. Musical chairs. It's better than Twitch. Yes? Good.
All right. Sorry.
No, this is real. Voice acting is a very physical sport.
Wow.
It's a physical thing. So, yes.
Here.
They didn't tell us we had to follow directions.
No. This is our game. We're gonna play it how we want to play it.
How you guys doing, man?
Love it. So, first and foremost, how's everybody doing? You guys having a good day?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Absolutely love it. We have a plethora of platforms on stage right now in representation here. So the first question I have to ask, what was your first video game system? Yeah, we're getting personal.
A Game Boy?
That counts, don't say it.
Sure, that counts as a game.
Absolutely,
Yeah, a Game Boy.
absolutely.
I don't know if you guys know what those are.
No, you're going next, because I'm the oldest person here, so I know where this is going.
Roger, we had this conversation.
You didn't even know that.
Necessarily know this.
A NES.
Nice, classic NES.
And we love like the little trackpad and we play duck hunt and track and
Talk about
we do a lot of that.
I love it. I was very recently years old when I learned that Duck Hunt is a 2-player game. Did not know that.
What are you sitting there with like 2 guns and be like,
No. The second player actually moves the birds. Wait, you guys didn't know that? Yes. The second player can actually control the birds.
No,
So
we're Googling this, right?
yeah, go for it. Google away. That is the job.
Are you
Yes.
serious?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I had no idea for years I didn't know this. But yeah, it's a 2-player friendly game. Yeah. So yeah. Nadji, what about you?
I had a stick.
Sit down, old man.
And we would roll the wheel with the stick, and we called it the sticky wheel. 64.
No, I literally, in television, which was,
Yes.
and actually even before that we did play Pong, so. Going
I used to play like.
I was born in
Those were the old like school.
1975.
I did have Lemmings. We were like Lemmings, Oregon Trail.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So like yeah.
No, but his question was gaming system.
Yes.
The Texas Instruments computers that you had in elementary school was not a gaming system.
TI-85s were not fun.
To get this here always sucks. I hate it. Nadji, what about you? First game.
I thought you already answered.
Sorry.
2600. That's classic.
But again,
I mean Galactica.
Come on.
But yeah, I'm wrong.
thank you.
No, but
It's more
PS2
sick,
for
man.
sure. Like PS2 was like my stamp. I was probably like 7 or 8. Yeah, so PS2.
Yeah.
That gym fight from New York.
I love it. Now you found your audience. They'll have PS2. That's us.
I was in college.
Audience, I have to ask, how many of you guys are like Atari era first game? You can clap. We can't see you. Clap. Regular Nintendo? Sega? We're of the same generational age here, so
Good, thank you.
we're good.
We suffered for our video
Yeah,
games.
we did. And we still use imagination
You guys
for
are
our
playing
Yeah,
Shaw.
the graphics were amazing. You were like marbles. You mean to tell me that big square is me?
Yes.
And the little squares coming out of that big square are the bullets.
Right.
Going to the differently colored square that is the enemy tank or Zaxxon spaceship or whatever.
It's fun.
It's amazing.
It's real.
Yeah. It's incredible. It's like 3D.
But is what I'm telling you.
Absolutely. Now, being that gaming is such a huge business now. To be able to bring forth actors, creatives, that will bring to life these characters through voice, acting, physically acting. What was the first sort of connective tissue to your acting career, to getting into video games for you?
Connective tissue.
Yeah. Was it a general audition, or did you hear like, wait?
I think it's a metaphor. I don't think it's like a ligament.
Oh, okay.
The 8-bit's connected to the 32-bit.
I love you.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'll start. I was already interested in acting. So I was already doing stage and television. And then Yuri Lowenthal, who's also an actor, who does a lot of voiceover, he and I got married. And we were just trying to find jobs. We just needed to pay the rent and eat food.
Right.
And so we were trying to figure out other things we could do as actors. And from that, we were like, what about that voiceover thing? Somebody does like cartoons and somebody does, well, at the time I didn't really know about video games. I grew up without a television. I didn't really play video games except my little Game Boy and the computer Jess. But so we took a class and we got into it that way. And so for me, once I was doing voiceover, then games was just one of the opportunities within the voiceover realm. So I don't know, I mean, I guess my connective tissue was that I was already acting and just seeking opportunities as an actor, but I don't know how everyone else sort of found games specifically.
Yeah, they kind of code everything in LA.
Wow.
You don't know you're doing a game until you're doing the game.
Okay.
Actually, I take that back. Some companies are a little more, lenient with their tell-all. But I'm gonna piggyback on Tara. I was doing like movies and TV shows and commercials, on camera stuff before. I was not good at voiceover work.
Right.
I'm really not a voiceover actor, guys. No.
It's just great at everything.
No. It's not even that. It's like I was not. I had a stutter problem. I was talking fast, and so I was not getting any voiceover work. I was doing a lot of on-camera stuff, and then The Last of Us,
Make some noise for that, y'all. Come on, don't let that
that was the first project. My first game, my first voiceover work, and actually, they didn't treat it like a voiceover audition. We walked in, and it was like a regular on-camera audition. So I felt at home. But I realized it wasn't normal to have 90 cameras around you at one point, and I'm like, okay, what are all these boxes doing around? And they're like, okay, that's a car, that's a house, this is on fire, run.
Well, you're gonna know that before, by the way.
Yeah.
I know what that
Yeah, exactly. At 13, you're like, what are we doing? What is this? What is this? Yeah, right. And they're like, just run the obstacle course. I'm like, all right, cool. But yeah, so that gradually, built to, just the gaming world. And to this day, Miles was kind of my trajectory and my build-up of getting better at voiceover.
Of course.
Yeah.
You are excellent at it. Big shout out to Spider-Man 2 because we love that game. Yes.
Sure. Maybe a little more boring of an answer, but I really started in theater. So I was very much a stage actor, but I started developing the VO alongside all the other kinds of acting training because I had a teacher, just this one class, and she had done VO before for video games. And so we did our first demos in the class, and I remember just being riveted by this and being like, okay, this is definitely going to be a path I'm going to take. And being surprised that everybody wasn't as passionate about it as myself and like one other person. We were like really into it, and everybody's like, oh, when do we get to the acting? And I'm like, this is amazing. So that, yeah, pretty much at school, at university, Concordia in Montreal, that's what I did.
Shout out. Big shout out.
Montreal!
Sorry. Roger, what about you?
Being a horrible stand-up comic was the connective tissue for me, because literally what launched me into even knowing about voice acting as a potential career was we were trying out for the Aspen Comedy Festival at the Improv in Irvine, and there were 10 of us selected to perform that night. It was a showcase event. At the end of the show, the audience leaves. We get back up on stage, and the woman that was there from the Aspen Comedy Festival to evaluate was going to critique you in front of your peers and that kind of thing. She's going down the line, and she's like, don't do props, you're not a prop comic. I like what you're doing, but it's too foul, this kind of thing. And then she goes to me, I was like 8th out of the 10th, and she comes to me and she goes, who represents you for voiceover? And I said, nobody. And she goes, you do so many characters and voices, you should look into that. And then moved on. Said nothing about my stand-up that night that I worked so hard on. And I was like, okay, that's the industry telling me to stop barking up this tree. And like, have you ever thought about doing something else? So literally, it was. Prior to that, it was like everybody's the same story. It was just being an actor. It was musical theater as a kid, and doing all sorts of different things, like all throughout. The path is never linear, but I still think that it's like being a substandard or a subpar comedian is what launch to my voiceover career.
Or you make sure that the performance that you give are funny where they're supposed to be. That's timing. That's hard to do.
I don't know about that. I think it was just that I was a crappy comic.
Oh, my.
Well, thank you. I
So how
appreciate
could
the
you
optimism.
just could tell that your voice was extraordinary?
That's true. There you go. It was that.
Exactly.
Or it was just that I was a really bad stand-up.
Now, if there are any, aspiring voice actors in the audience, please hear what they said. Acting first is the key. It's not about making funny sounds or funny voices. It's being able to bring characterization and storytelling to life in your performance. That is number one. But obviously, because there is a thing about voice, I gotta know, what is your personal method for how you protect your voice and get ready for a performance in a game, show, or what have you?
A lot of tea.
Lot of tea. What's the flavor though? What's the flavor?
No flavor.
No flavor.
Throat coat's really good.
Okay, respect. No, that's a good one.
If I know I have a strenuous video game session, where
Right.
there's going to be lots of call-outs and screaming and et cetera, I will make sure I do a vocal warm-up.
Okay.
I used to do a vocal warm-up before every session, but then I was like, you know what, it's silly. If I'm going in to do an Old Navy spot with Roger, I don't necessarily, I might be there for 3 hours, but I don't necessarily have to do a full body warm-up. But if
Right.
I'm doing a video game session, I do try to make sure that physically my physiognomy is ready to do what I have to do, because it is strenuous and it is stressful, and much like you want to stretch before you run a marathon, you want to also make sure that every part of your body that's going to be used for voiceover is prepared.
Of course.
The tea also, throat coats,
Definitely.
the jam.
Yeah. As moderators too. The guy that want to be a moderator. That's a good thing. Patricia, what about you?
I try to be reasonable, and I feel like the older I get, the more important it is to just watch everything I'm doing a little bit, to just maintain everything. But yeah, hydration, you kind of gotta.
Sorry.
And sometimes you don't, and then you really regret it.
Feel it.
That's why. But I think there's also, like, if you're going to do a certain kind of role, you can, if you know what it is, you can kind of warm up for that particular thing, as you're saying, like, you don't, do like 10 push-ups and, do low resonance for like Old Navy or something. But if you know you have like a character where you might have to use a lot of high pitches, you sort of sit in that, and if you know that you've got to do grunts, I try to do a few shouts at home, and then give it a lot of time, so it's like done a little bit of like, and then it sits, and then when I go to the session, I'm like a little more ready.
That's smart, actually. I also like when I'm in session, sorry, I jumped, you still get to talk.
No, Raja doesn't get to talk
But
about it.
I also like, when I'm in session, you know how like, they ask oftentimes, like, do you need a break, I feel like sometimes I just get like in a zone, and I kind of don't always want a break, because I've already done some of the screening, and I kind of want to keep doing it. Do you find that as well?
I find that, but I did something a couple of days ago where he was like, do you need a break? And I was like, yes. I need half a minute to a minute every 10 to 15 minutes, because there was a bunch of loud lines. And I sit there, and then I'll sort of blow, and sort of do something with my vocal cords to get them doing this again a little bit.
Wait, can you show us that one more time?
Sort of like blowing through a straw.
Like straw-foaming.
Yeah, straw-foaming. And
Alright, so I need everybody in the audience to try this. Okay, so you take your finger.
I do different methods of it.
It's very dignified.
Sort of like just close my lips a little bit, so just a tiny bit of air is coming through, but more pressure. And I go. Right. Sorry, I just did it.
Well,
I just mimicking him before I go to You should do your special. That's how Roger warms up.
And that's what comedy, I don't understand that.
I don't know what the stand-up comic, I don't know why he failed.
There we go. Nice little pause.
A lot of broccoli.
I like it. Roger, how do you warm up? Other than this, great.
I find being a really bad stand-up comic is a great warm-up for voiceover. Sorry, that's the timing. Yeah, there you go. See, comedic timing is
Sorry, I
everything.
just broke my finger.
Literally pulling my finger,
That
and
is
I'm
prep
like,
comedy. That is prep comedy now.
Yes, they just need you to don't go for the obvious joke. You hold it. That's what
yes, oh, yes, well, in the voiceover booth, yes.
We're professionals.
I don't have, like, everything they've all been saying is accurate. True. Like, the throat coat tea was my go-to for so long.
Yeah.
With just tons of honey and everything, and yeah. But then honey and sugar, and so, no, rest, for me it's rest. It's literally, it's like everything you think of physiologically that benefits you, just eating healthy and trying to stay like physically healthy is what helps my voice. And when I deviate, it suffers. So yeah, but I don't really do too many. I don't have a little warm-up routine.
Okay.
I mean, it just depends.
That's fair.
Yeah, I do everything you're not supposed to. I drink a ton of coffee in the morning, and it's just like you shouldn't be doing that because it's not so great for your voice. But yeah,
He does the bad stuff so that you don't. That's what that is.
there you go. Exactly. You're welcome.
I'm going to invite you guys to ask some questions. We got microphones over here. While you guys are moving to do so, I'm going to ask one final question. You guys have had some wonderful characters that you brought to life. My question is, which one do you feel is closest to who you are today? Yep.
I mean, literally,
That's
my finest work.
You play the field stand-up comics? Is that... High Five Rush. Something in Cortado, High Five
Yes,
Rush.
it was Batman doing stand-up. That was my closest, like,
I like that.
yeah, because he's such a funny guy.
Very funny. Very funny.
Yeah.
What's the deal with the
Joker? Am I right?
I don't know, man. I mean, like, I can very much relate to Zelda a lot. I feel like a lot of people can. She's just got a really human, relatable personality. So I'd say that there's a lot of stuff in there that I would relate to. I kind of do that with all my characters a little bit. So, and I'm not really like any of them, and I'm not magical. I'm sorry.
What?
Wait, who told you about magic?
How dare you?
Very dare you. Yes, come on.
A little bit magical.
There we go. Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, I'm similar to you in a way that I'm not exactly like any of my characters, but there's something I find within each character that I find a similarity to. And so I'm very determined and I'm very focused and very serious about things. And so a lot of that comes into a lot of the characters. But I wouldn't say that there's one character that really is a standout that is what I most like. Because they're all just little sections of the color wheel.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love that. Nadji, what about you?
I want to piggyback off that too. Yeah, definitely similarities I find. Because if it was close to me now, or if I was close to it, but I'd scared.
Okay.
That the world's like in.
Yeah.
You know, I'm saying like I don't want to get that close. It's a little dangerous.
You're absolutely
It's a little dangerous. but yeah, similarities, man. I want to say yeah for the most part.
I like it. I like it. We got some people lined up over there. Y'all scared to ask questions? You're allowed to. I promise. We'll start on this side. And we'll bounce back and forth. Hello. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
Those ears.
Anybody else?
Thanks. I was gonna say, I just saw them up on the big screen, it's like, oh look. You all do such fantastic work. I asked this question as like my own worst critic. Is there a line that you wish in your history you were like, I really wish they used a different take for that, or like, I really wish that I could have gone with the direction that I wanted to take with it? It doesn't have to be a current role, just anything in the past if you want to.
Isn't I mean, like, anybody, I mean, you ever, like, hear your own voicemail that you've left to, like, a friend, and he goes, "That what it sound like?"
Yeah.
You know, they're playing it back, you're like, "I don't sound like that." And, yeah, and I think, I don't know, most performers, it's like, you see something, and we covet these roles and these opportunities that you get to do something, and so it's so hard to watch and listen to your work, and so, I don't know, I think the majority of everything that I've ever done, I listen and I go, how am I getting hired? What was that? That's cool. Okay. All right. No, it's tough.
Yeah, I can't come up with any specific lines. It happens all the time. All the time. And I think sometimes you think it might sound a way, which is, you know, don't go in wanting to try to make it sound just so it's got to feel right too, but sometimes you go in with an idea and then you hear it back and you're like, that's not at all what I thought that I did. And you're just like, wow, and that's the one I thought was good. And you're like, that's so sad. But it's, you know, we are all our own worst critics.
The analogy I've used is you birth a vocal baby, and then you hand that baby to all these people, and whether or not they make it pretty or ugly and all this is. And I was using this analogy with a bunch of like animators recently, and they said it's the same thing from our side as well. Like it's such a massively collaborative process that it's like, it's so difficult. You just don't know what you're gonna wind up with.
Yeah, you kind of have to trust the whole team. You have to trust your director and the producers and the other actors to make it cohesive. Because if you just look at your elements separate, you're missing the entire orchestra. Like you need all of the pieces, and you kind of have to trust that the director knows that line is going to be said more of a cool way, and this line over here is going to be more vulnerable. But if you're setting out to be vulnerable here and cool over here, it never really is going to exactly hit that. And you also have to trust that what other people are hearing, which is different than what you hear in your own head, works. Because I sound really cool in my own head, but like that doesn't mean that that's what it's coming across as. And so you have to kind of get rid of that and let go of ego and let go of self-consciousness and just try to aim for honesty in the moment of that character and the truth of the scenario, I think.
Well said. Did you want to add anything to that?
No, they.
There's a lot. There's a lot of goodness.
Great with that one.
I got you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. So my question is, if you're in the booth and you're reading something that is absolutely hilarious and you can't stop laughing at it, how do you guys manage to like stop laughing and just do the line?
You
Well,
will
if you
get
can't stop
fired.
laughing, how do you stop laughing?
You want to keep your job?
Yeah, they wave your check acceptance here as you laugh.
No, I mean, think of something dark. I don't know.
Baseball.
I'm just thinking something like think of something dark. That's not funny. Yeah.
I just start doing my old stand-up and the laughter stops. Fills the mood immediately.
I mean, we do all have to do. I mean, sometimes you can't get a word out of your mouth. There's just things that happen, and we just sort of have to like all take a break and pause.
But what, like, so like if it's that funny, it's probably really good, and we're gonna love to deliver it, right? Like at some point, you're like, this is really good writing and very funny, or is it like if you're doing something dramatic and the line is so bad that you're laughing so hard that is that what you're thinking? Is like,
I don't know, really.
you thought about your question. No, it is an interesting. Every now and then there is like lines that I like, but I mean, usually, it's what you were saying earlier about like relying on your directors and that kind of thing. It's so often that you sort of have to take yourself out of it and just kind of go, whether or not I find this funny, if it's not serving, what the character needs to be doing, that kind of thing, and you think of it sort of professionally. I know that sounds boring, but you just go like, well, they are paying me.
It just goes to the bloopers reel.
I should probably do my job and execute on, on something. I guess.
Well said. Well said.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Hello.
Am I able to ask the actor specific questions?
You can ask them specifically, don't ask them to perform. Bro.
Oh, no, yeah.
I ain't talking. I ain't talking.
So for Roger, I just wanted to ask, how did you manage to come up with your own unique Batman voice for Arkham Origins, especially knowing the last two games came from such a legend like Kevin Conroy himself, rest in peace.
Without a doubt, rest in peace, yes. And so this we've said this, like Troy and I have talked about this with those performances that are so iconic and we're establishing the legacy. I didn't. This is literally how the first few sessions and almost the first week of working on Origins, we went through as many different versions of sort of a Batman approach vocally that we could think of. And I think Troy said it best. I mean, back in 2013, he was saying it was as if we knew that the points on the horizon that existed were the performances that were established by Kevin and Mark were there. And it had to make sense that from an origin standpoint, that all we were doing was just a little bit of a younger version or a little bit less dialed in, characterization of these characters. And so we just tried to do something that would make sense and honor where conceivably and believably it could go. And that, it really and truly is so collaborative. It's so rare that I walk in, or I don't know, do any of us get to walk in and just go, first of all, you're welcome that I'm here. And this is the voice that your character is now gonna have. It's like, it just doesn't work that way. It's like, every job I've ever done, including jobs that we still do for characters that we've already established, you walk in and it's like, what are we doing today? Because I am the hired gun, and so finding that Arkham Origins Batman voice was very much trying to find something that would make sense to where it could go, but working with the producers and the director and everybody just kind of having their input, and you just keep, throwing stuff against the wall. But I cannot take credit for it because it was just sort of such a collaborative process, but in the end, we got something that worked and seemed to not violate that stuff, because that was the scariest part for both Troy and I, was that we were like, man, this could go a lot of different ways. You know, this could either be received well or poorly, and thankfully it seems to be on the positive side more often than not. So,
Well done. Well done.
thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Hello.
Hello. Okay, I'd rather speak in my microphones. I'm so nervous.
It's all good. It's all good.
My name is Nick. I have a question for Roger because, well, first of all, I just want to say what you did on Twitter back when you said you were leaving Sonic the Hedgehog, that really hurt because you were there a lot for my childhood.
I never meant to hurt you.
You fixed it when you put the stitches back together and said, hey, I'm coming back.
Okay, good. Thank you.
And I was like,
All
well,
Roger.
Yeah, good job.
At one point there, I was like, well, I guess we're going back to like Jason Griffin.
Vince,
I
you shouldn't have stopped.
So, my question was, how do you feel about the Sonic movies right now? Like 1 and 2, the design of Sonic in the original trailer, and then the ugly Sonic in the Chip and Dale movie. And then, and also, I was very upset you didn't have a cameo in that movie either.
The weather in Orlando.
Yeah.
All right, I was expecting it to be a lot warmer.
Yeah. No.
But it's just
Yes, but it's blizzards falling from the trees.
It's funny that like the local news is like, folks, it's going to be below 70, so bring your pets inside. They're going to die.
It's a big conversation. They know the Blizzard sponsors.
Oh, well done. See, if I had jokes like that in my stand-up, I wouldn't be here right now.
You should have took the comedy chip show in Sonic.
I should have, yes. I have no thoughts or comments on anything that doesn't involve me.
Respect. Respect.
No, I think there's never been a better time to be a Sonic fan. It's an amazing time to be a Sonic fan. We have such great stuff coming out, and I'm here for all of it.
And then I just have I'm sorry, I forgot your name. The gentleman who plays Miles. I have a request.
Wait. Wow. Hand it over. Not here. You requested that.
I just want him to do, since he's here with Yuri, the guy, the gentleman who plays Peter in the passport, they need to go right up to, I'm so sorry, I keep forgetting names. The gentleman that played Miles in the movie. They just point at each other. It's got to point at each other.
Yeah.
You want to see the new Spider-Man movie? We never done that.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about like here, us, me, you, them. We gotta do that. Like,
We have a panel together?
no, why haven't we had that? Okay. Of all the things.
And then just one last thing.
Whoa, wow, that's a holy cow.
What's your
Three last things.
what's your guys' favorite Pokemon?
You. Or now.
Our world.
I love that there's people up on the balcony right now. Yeah. I see y'all everywhere. Yeah! People up top!
They're video game snipers up there. Yeah.
Hey, did you guys know that he's in that, oh, I forgot the name of the character. It's like a spider.
Roger.
What's the name of the movie?
Wait, you were also, didn't? And Larry Yolenthal.
That's right, yeah.
Look, yeah.
Which is ironic.
Lurie,
Aaron plays a character named Yuri.
Oh, you know Lurie. You know Lurie well, right?
I might be married.
You might be married to Yuri Lowenthal.
It happens.
You're married
It
to
happens.
Split.
Hello, Fred.
I got a question for Roger.
I'm gonna let somebody else answer it.
You did too,
No,
right?
no, this was next.
So in the game Dying Light, you voiced Cal Crane, and I was just wondering which character's death did you think was the saddest?
Oh.
Gosh. All of them. It's a zombie apocalypse game. It's just like, think of all the lives of those poor people that were turned into zombies. So it's probably the ones that I don't know. As I'm splattering their zombie guts over the windshield of my car, that might have been, somebody who was a doctor. Or something far more important in this world than I. So I'm gonna go with zombie number 4.
Okay.
That's a joke.
Give us a mom.
See? Make up your own
It's
backstory.
a mom and a child.
I love it. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Hi, I have a question for Patricia. I was wondering.
I'll answer this.
I was wondering, since Princess Zelda and Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is so different from all the previous iterations, I was wondering how specifically you found her voice.
It's one of those things that you audition for something and you don't know what you're auditioning for, and you go by like a sort of bleached script and the specs on the script, which said something like, around the age of 1920, but timeless. Weight of the world on her shoulders, royal, something in that field, has a lot of pressure on her. And so I kind of just went up to a range, pitched it around, put it up here a little more, brought it down. I was like, no, this is comfortable up here. And then I thought, okay, maybe I'll add a little RP, because I trained over that. I thought, this sounds like it's good. I love this. Everybody's filming this now. That's why I don't do voices on stage anyway. But I found it kind of natural. It felt like a suitable place to put a young version of a princess that I could sustain for a long time. That felt like real, that felt natural. So that was the logic that I was going for when I was auditioning for it. And just being like, please let them like it. That's sort of whatever it is.
I really love your work.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello. Hey there. So I just wanted to ask, I know that recording sessions take hours, so I wanted to ask how much of that content actually gets cut from the game? How many hours are cut?
That's a big
I
question.
mean, I don't know that any of us know specifically because it depends what you're working on. If it's a title that already released in Japan and then you're coming in and you're doing, would be sort of like the American English version, it's usually already set and you have to make sure you're recording all of those pieces. But when you're recording a game that they're continually still writing, like for example on Spider-Man, when we were working on that, sometimes they would have us come in and do almost like entire arcs for things for the characters, and then the designers and development team would realize that either Sony or Marvel decided to scrap a certain idea, or that it wasn't quite working with the other villains that were gonna happen, and so you record a lot of stuff, but you don't necessarily know what's gonna make it in. But every development and design team and production team and title out there has its own sort of recipe. And so it's hard for us to know, and unless we go through and play those games in every, like we don't know what we used and ended up on the cutting room floor. So it's a little hard, I think, for any of us to be aware of that. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't have all my lines memorized after. Like, you know.
It's memorized 1,000 lines today.
Yeah, well, good for me.
And one quick question. What was the longest recording session that you guys have had?
Single session.
Single session?
Well,
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
yeah, what works on?
Well, yes, but the longest single session I ever had was 7.5 hours.
Wow.
It was one of my first sessions, pre-union, all of that. There was a snafu, and they just kept me in there, and I was like, are they ever gonna let me leave? Like, it was kind of horrifying. I almost never came back and did voiceover again. Yeah.
All right, so we've got 7 hours. Who could beat 7 hours? Anyone? Anyone?
No, unless you're talking about like being on film sets and then you're like 20 hours, you know, like that's happened.
Nice.
But I don't know, 4 or 5 hours, honestly, it's better for me.
Is that about the average? 4 or 5?
4 hours is standard.
Yeah, it's based on a 4-hour, usually like 9 to 1, 2 to 6 kind of thing, intensity of the sessions that they book.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, guys.
Hello.
Hello. This is a question for Roger. So I'm sure you know about the Sonic Generations remaster that was just announced. I'm curious what you think about the Sonic X Shadow title, and if there's any romantic tension.
Seriously, like it's below 70.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently that's crazy for a
Yeah. Sorry.
Cool.
Not even going there.
Yeah.
Not even. It's like when people ask me like Sanini questions, and you know, my favorite is, you guys think you're so crafty? You pull out your phone and you're at the table and you're going, you have any thoughts on Amy and Sonic? Are we live on Twitter right now? No, I have no thoughts. Yes, but it's cool that you're going to be redoing it. Yes, we'll see what happens.
Just kind of
We'll
shit.
find out.
All right, so I got to give the 5-minute warning. We're tiptoeing towards time. I'm so sorry. So we'll see if we get through like maybe 2 more questions. Don't send them to Roger. He's answered all of them.
Hi guys, I was wondering, when you have to film really emotional scenes, how do you get into character for that? Like the really sad ones, sad emotional.
They pinch themselves a lot.
I think of a specific one, but it's for Patricia.
Go for it.
When in Breath of the Wild, she's running in the rain with Link and she falls down her knees. It's just such a compelling scene. I always wondered how you got into the character to film that.
I'm not I'm like, spoilers!
Well, it's from 2017, so.
Still haven't, some people are just picking up the first game. But it kind of, I actually do pre-prep before I go into, when I have the lines, and for that I had them like a day in advance or something like that. So you go in and you kind of track it and you really do your best. But for something like in the booth, I think you have to work on being very relaxed in your body so that you can find where it's sitting and where it needs to sit when you're doing something like a crying scene. And some of those things can actually just be vocal techniques, and other things can be very emotionally connected. That was very emotionally connected, but there's also like a technical side to it where you have to be tracking it at the same time. I don't know, like the prep, it comes naturally if you're feeling the character, and that is pretty easy to get into, honestly, that particular cutscene. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to jump in, or should we go to the next question?
I was just gonna ask you, did you request that you could see your script, or did they just naturally?
I did. I requested I could see it a little bit in advance.
Oh, see, that's awesome.
Yeah, it doesn't always happen. Yeah, that one did.
Usually you don't see your script ahead of time.
No, not always, no.
Nicely done. Hello.
Hello. I had a question for Roger, but
Ask Roger.
Okay, Roger. So you've worked on multiple, you worked on multiple Sonic projects in the last decade under different writers. Some are well beloved in the Sonic community, others not so much. So my question is, has the experience been any different from the different writers?
No. Next question. Of course, yes. No, it's always different, but it's the job is to just show up and do the work. It's not whether or not I think it's good or better or worse or anything like that. It's like a day behind a VO mic is a victory. So I'm happy to just get the work. You know, the rest of the stuff is so far out of my control. But let's keep.
Yeah, I was gonna say we get one more. Okay, this is gonna be the last one. I'm sorry.
You got this.
Got it?
Hello?
Yes?
We got you.
I have a question for Roger, if that's okay.
Pull his mic down.
What made you do the Sonic the Hedgehog voice? Like, what inspired you to do it?
How about this? I want every one of you guys to do what you think Sonic the Hedgehog sounds like. I want all of you guys to do what you guys think I sound like doing this sort of thing, and then I'll answer that.
I'm not doing
Starting
it.
with you.
I'm not doing it.
You're doing it.
Why I gotta? Okay. What do I feel like your Sonic sounds like?
Yeah. Not what do you feel like? What do you think by doing it? You think I sound like?
Oh my god.
What I do.
We used to be friends, I just want you guys to know that.
Okay. This is so mean. Okay, so you punch, right? To get into this, right? And so what you do is you come up with this. Yeah, because Sonic's short.
Like,
So yeah, he punches, and he looks for a voice that's kind of high. That's what he does.
oh, okay. What do you think, Nadji?
We'll bring it. Leopard.
It runs really fast.
Not how I am in person. Sounds.
What?
I'm short.
No,
I really
describe the leprechaun.
No, this is performance of Sonic. That's what
That
it does.
doesn't a leprechaun.
Okay, right? Because leprechauns have
He
gold,
runs
green,
fast.
gold. That's my story.
He goes like a ball. He runs fast and he's...
That's Roger's performance, right?
What if he sounds like a leprechaun? What if he sounds like a leprechaun?
Do you push back a little on your voice? Do you like ride it a little back?
Oh sure, yeah. How do you think it sounds?
I mean, you gotta, you're Sonic.
Bring it. Bring it. You know you got this.
Me?
Yes. Wow. I want to know what inspires me. Like, what inspires? getting hired. No, again, it's like literally, we show up, this is what we do. It's like, this is the joy of like, sometimes like showing up and having somebody say like, this is what we think, this is what we want it to sound like, and we literally just start in. And you can start going low, then you can go high, and you do all these different things, and it's like, and look at the difference between, I showed up for Sonic Frontiers, and it was hilarious because Jack, our director, was just like, we're doing something different. And suddenly Sonic was a low, kind of like different voice. It's just, the inspiration is in wanting to do good work, always, with what we do. So it's yeah, and we listen to our directors and our producers and our writers.
I love it, I love it. Megacon, thank you all so very much for joining us today.
Megacon!
If you did not get a chance to ask your question, come see them at their booth.
Yes,
and
come see us
ask
at the
them,
table.
okay? So don't let the question die, just hold on to it for a little bit longer. Guys, thank you all so very much for joining us. One more time, appreciate it.